Okay, good afternoon, and so thank you very much, everybody, for inviting me, especially the CVCD. Dr. Asita talked about the technology in general for both the students for the learning part as well as administration. I would like to concentrate uh, specifically on students. And so I will talk about student expectations in the digital age and how we meet them. So yes, this will be, I hope, relevant for the vice chancellors, deans, heads, and even lecturers. But I believe it's also extremely relevant to all the registrars, bursars, deputy registrars, and so on, because as to that, because we have all these words. Sometimes I have no idea what these words mean: digitization, digitalization, and I don't know various things. But so let me try to see what is this word we are talking about these days. Digital, right? Digital actually means using your fingers, right? But anyway, uh, but people call digital. We are saying, when we say something digital, using digital technologies, all these electronics, computers, various things, and then connected and integrated through digital platforms, virtual representation, and impact. So let's try to look at these a bit more. What are these digital technologies that we talk about? I think one is, of course, computers, and when we say computers, we also mean all these phones and tablets and smart watches, in fact any kind of device which is smart. And then of course, to connect these together, we have internet. So when you have the internet on all these devices, we can call them digital technologies. And even maybe 10-20 years ago, these were some fairly specialized things, right? I can remember when we got into internet, only a sort of a few people were, the techies were the people who were worried about the internet. But now we see everybody from all the faculties, humanities, then the visual and performing arts, and medicine, and every other faculty is now talking digital. So these are some of the things, but we can have more different meanings for digital. For example, the world is more connected and integrated. So today we are all here. I think this is being telecast and so on, but I don't believe we have a virtual audience who is fully participating here online, but we could have. Right? Today, often you don't have to come to some particular place. In fact, now for meetings, I say always, okay, I'm invited for meeting, I just inform the organizer I will join online. Right? I don't even ask them, can I join online? I just inform them I join online, because today I expect, I think it's an expectation that if somebody is organizing a meeting, he'll also have to have some kind of physical, online participation. In fact, I can remember recently I was asked to come for one of these promotion interviews, and then I told the SAR, no, I will come physically, and they were slightly surprised. Why are you coming all that way? I said, no, that's okay. I have not visited the university for 3 years. I will come, right? So it has become connected, integrated online. We have social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We have e-commerce, right? So today you don't go anywhere to have a meal, right? What do? We call Pick Me or Uber, and they deliver your food to your home, right? We use all these online services, right? Now many of us have not visited our bank for maybe many years. Why? We use online banking and then digital media. So the world is connected and integrated. Then virtual representations of the physical world, and this is nothing new. I say we have had virtual representations of the physical world for thousands of years. we have had books, right? Books, paper books are also virtual representations of the physical world, right? By reading a book, if you read a novel, where are you? You are not sitting in your house, you are, you know, at an adventure somewhere, following the hero, and the heroine may be in their adventure somewhere. You are in a virtual world. But now, of course, we also have e-books, like I'm trying to show here. So this is actually a famous story by Isaac Asimov, The Fun They Had, by Isaac Asimov. And it says, Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed May 17, 2157, she wrote, "Today, Tommy found a real book." Now, I think Isaac Asimov is wrong. We will not have to wait till 2157 for people to be very surprised when they see a physical book, unless they go to a museum. And of course, museums will also be virtual, right? We are going to have no books. Newspapers are not selling. Nobody buys newspapers anymore, right? Even radio, TV stations are finding it difficult. Why? People are going for virtual versions of books, audio, video, World Wide Web, e-commerce, online interaction. So today, how many of our students actually want to meet physically? No, they are all meeting online and virtual and mixed reality. So that's where the world has come today. And we can't stop it, right? So we are not really talking here about what the university should do or should not do or can do or can't do. These are all things which have already happened and will happen. And in fact, in another 3-4 years, if I am giving a similar talk, I probably have much more virtual reality and all that. In fact, probably I will not come here to give a talk, right? I will be doing it virtually and you will see me. And you will also not be sitting here. You will be at home, right? You will see me making noises and shaking my hands and so on, but I will be virtual. And our students, right? How old are our students? 18, 19, 20, 21. Of course, with COVID and all, slightly older maybe. They are digital natives. Who is a digital native? A person who has been born into the digital world. They use digital all the time and they do not have a pen or a pencil with them, right? Students come to get various forms signed by me. So they bring the piece of paper, because still that piece of paper is paper, and they want me to sign. So I look at it and say, well, you have to sign here first. How can I sign concerning you unless you have signed? So I said, sign this. Then invariably they don't have a pen. So I have to give them a pen, right? I am still old fashioned. I still carry a pen, right? But none of my students have a pen. When they come to get me to sign things, they expect me to have a pen somehow. And they are frustrated by these outdated teaching methods. Why? They are used to doing everything digitally. So they do not feel that we are in the same world as them, right? They are in the digital world. If we happen to be not in the digital world, we are in two different worlds. So what about state universities in Sri Lanka? I mean, we have a proud history, maybe not so long. We are not as old as Oxford or even some other Indian universities, but certainly we have a proud history. But the question I want to ask is, as state universities in Sri Lanka, and I'm sure there are a few private university staff also here, are we in the digital age? Right, Asita showed some statistics. Some of them were very positive, but I think some of them were quite on the lower side. I can't remember the exact numbers, but there were some 10% also there. Now I have obviously talked to many lecturers, and there are many lecturers who still feel that they would like to, I think the vice chancellors and deans here are probably well aware, certain lecturers who come and complain that in this particular lecture hall, the black and I don't know, I have not touched a piece of chalk for a long time, right? Uh, uh, but there are still people like they were my age, and I think many of us are at a certain age. Uh, it shouldn't be so bad. But some of the younger people also still insist on having chalk and going and writing on blackboards. Um, well, it's easy. Actually, it's easy. Why? All you need is last year's notes or your lecturer's notes, right? And this sometimes happens especially to young probation lecturers, right? They have their notes which their lecturer has given them, and they have a piece of chalk. They go to the lecture hall and everything is perfect. Students actually like it. Why? They can sleep, right? Because the lecturer is talking there and they can sleep. But digital is more difficult. In fact, students might even be awake, right, if you are using digital. So that's a question. Not question, that's a result. Right. So let me ask a couple of maybe difficult questions. I hope you think about these questions and maybe you arrive at your own answer. I will try to give an answer, but probably might not agree. Does a university need students? Right? විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයකට ශිෂ්‍යයින් අවශ්‍යද? මම හිතන්නේ අපි හැමෝම කියයි ඕ කියලා. Yes, we need students because if you don't have a students, of course, you can be a research institute, right? Fine, I mean, nothing wrong with being a research institute, but that does not mean you are a university. So, by definition, if you are a university, you must have students, right? I don't know. Maybe you disagree with me. Okay, nobody wants to dispute that, so we'll continue. Let me now ask, do the students need the university? Right? So we said the university might need students. I'm not sure, really. Because students can get better learning than we provide. I mean, we have internet, we have YouTube, we have Coursera, we have edX, we have Udemy, and I don't know, so many different places. And students actually can get a very good learning than we provide. And then, as state universities, we also have private institutes. And I believe we sort of tend as state universities to say, what are these private universities? They are not, quality is not so good, and so many problems. But the quality is, I think you will admit, in many cases fairly good. And some of them may be better, because obviously they are in a competitive world, and if they don't have enough quality, students won't come to them. And if we don't have enough quality, then students won't come to us, right? So fees are not a problem, or people can get qualifications online. They don't even have to come to any university. And these qualifications, especially these online qualifications, certifications, various things, are very much accepted by students. Often when they go for a job, they don't ask, in my field in computer, they don't ask, do you have a degree? I don't care about a degree. Do you have this Microsoft certification? And that's what the employees are interested in. And of course, the real test will come when the parents-in-law, when your students' girlfriends or boyfriends' parents are not interested in getting a graduate into their family, they are more worried you have this certification. Then of course people won't come. So the danger that our universities may become irrelevant, right? Nobody will come here. This place will be empty. And the government might like that. Right? You can see the strategy of the government. Right? They would love to close us down. Right? So we should, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but you can see the strategy. Not only this government, previous governments, everybody has been moving in a particular direction. And if you just talk to some people, right? Some people, the state universities are no good. Students don't know anything. We want people from private universities. Right? Clearly they say that. So we have to look into this. In fact, I have been, sometimes fighting. I say, why are you only talking about private universities? No, we will give you what you need from our local state universities. People don't believe. Okay. Anyway, so this is, I believe, a future we definitely want to avoid, but it might turn up. Anyway, now let's go back to impact of digital technologies. So digital is impacting everything: manufacturing, health, all these things, and of course education. So I will not worry about digital manufacturing or any of those, or digital health. Although of course, depending on which field you are on, obviously it would be important. If you are obviously in manufacturing, then obviously you have to know about digital manufacturing. But what is digital learning? So why use digital? Well, we can use it because it is there. Yeah, there is a Moodle. Why don't we use it? Right? There is a center for distance learning, or there is a center for audio visual. There is a center where you can record things. Why don't you use it? Because it's there. Or, of course, this was especially true about 2 years ago, maybe, because we can't teach face to face. So as you know, all of us are forced, whether we liked it or not, to use these digital technologies to try to teach people who are at home. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work, but anyway, now we don't have to. But I still believe that whether we have to or not, we can do it. Then maybe you saw the survey. So universities are moving to digital, and we might get to a point where the university says, no, you have to be digital. I don't think it has happened yet, but I do see it happening, where the university says, you have to become digital. We will not build any more lecture rooms. In fact, I don't know why we should build any more lecture rooms. We have enough lecture rooms. What we need is more digital. So let's put the money into digital. Right? That's what I was telling Vice Chancellor. But anyway, but all those are not really the correct reason. We should go for digital because it is better. And if it is not better, don't. Right? I am not saying digital is always the best and always the possible thing. But if digital is better, let's go for it. If digital is the other one, the physical or whatever other thing is better, then of course go for that. But I believe that in a lot of scenarios, in a lot of cases, digital will actually be better. And where does digital learning happen? It could be in the classroom. Now, I noticed this year especially, when I go to the classroom, all the students have their tabs. I don't know, they have somehow decided every single 100%, it's a small class, but within the small class, 100% bring a tab. And when I ask a question, right, many of them actually go and search something on their device and give me an answer. Right? First time it has happened to me. Earlier, if you ask question, usually students pretend they didn't hear, but now they actually search and answer. So digital learning can happen in the classroom. Right? I think it's a big change, where students actually bring digital devices and do digital learning while sitting in a classroom physically with the lecturer. And they can be in the campus. Right? We have seen where we give a lecture and we do it online also, and students are actually in the campus, maybe in the hostel, maybe in the canteen, and they are accessing from there. That's where they want to be. They don't want to come to the lecture hall, but they are on campus. They are using it, right? At home or a boarding or in a telecenter, learning center, or even in the bus or somewhere else. So the good thing about digital learning is we don't necessarily have to come. And with COVID, people were not able to come, so we had to do it. And even now, we find that many students don't come. That's probably okay. Then, of course, I will skip over this since we are a bit late. We can have synchronous and asynchronous learning and so on, online lectures, and then interactive and various things. Right, I will sort of skip over most of this. Also, I just want to mention, so this is not my field, this is pedagogy. Student-centered learning, I think e-learning or digital learning can certainly be used on student-centered learning, where it is not the lecturer giving a talk. So even here we have made it very much lecturer-centered, right? Lecturer is standing and talking and you are sitting and listening. Right? Maybe even this conference you could have made it more into a much more workshop thing where we all get together and talk. Anyway, whatever. So directed independent study, discussions, student generated content. Now this is something I'm really interested in pursuing. I haven't really done it much, I have to admit. Where instead of the lecturer generating the lessons, comments, assessments, all sorts of things, why not let the students do it? I mean, I have tried it slightly, but I think I need to really think about it a bit more. Right. So, what do we need for digital learning? And the good thing is, all our universities now have this. Right. I believe every single university has a learning management system. Right. Yeah. I don't know every faculty, but pretty much all the faculties. Yeah. So that's there. We are still missing some of these content authoring systems. Right. I don't know, maybe some universities do. I think Open University has quite a good setup. But most of the universities, they really don't have a good setup for content authoring, external content, motivated teachers, trained teachers, so training and support systems, connectivity. I think systems and connectivity are generally under control, although like yesterday we had this Zoom problem, but other than these minor things. So what do we need by students? They need the devices, and although yes, cost is a big issue, somehow people do manage. I mean, I do find that maybe with some assistance from here and there, most of our students do manage to get some kind of device. Connectivity, again, not a big issue these days. Nobody complains that they can't connect. That's quite strange. Even the VC of Visual and Performing Arts was saying that they were doing a lot of visual performing arts teaching online with video and so on. I was asking, do you find any bandwidth problems? He said no. So I was actually surprised by that. Then of course motivation. We need some motivation. Then I would like to ask, so we are mostly academic except the administrative staff, who likes to mark exam papers? Right? So I don't think anybody will say that. Yeah, so we all hate marking exam papers, especially those of us who teach, the 200, 300, whatever student courses. But we continue to do it. Right? When I joined the university as a probation lecturer, I think one of the first faculty board meetings I went, there were lecturers, right, much senior to me, complaining about having to mark papers. So I said, shall we do some electronic marking? Shall we do, and they were looking at me. I mean, by that not, so I was a very keen person who had come back with, having used some online systems abroad and so on. I said, we can do it. And they were thinking, I'm mad. Right? But unfortunately, things have not changed all that much in the thing. We still mark physical papers. So I would like to at least see, can we consider, now I think at Moratoa we have got permission, we had to do it during the COVID days, but now we have permission. Even right now, we can conduct any exam online. All we have to do is inform the exam branch. This exam will be conducted online. That's it. Of course, students have to come to campus and sit in examination hall. But it can be online. So I think that's a major victory we managed at Moratuwa. I don't know if other universities also allow that, but at least you can point to Moratuwa and say they allow online exams, right? And if you have online exams, of course, the answers are online, and therefore you can have e-assessment, right? So e-assessment, you can give many more assessments. I tend to give weekly assignments. I mean small ones, right? Weekly assignments which are usually marked online by the system itself. So I mean it's very easy. I just have to do some questions and everything else does it. Make teachers' life easier. Many people think e-assessment means multiple choice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's not, right? Of course, I think people who have studied pedagogy know multiple choice is not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is more to it than that. But if you don't like multiple choice, I mean, there's nothing wrong with multiple choice actually. There are many other methods which are available. Fill in the blanks, like water is composed of. So people can type in the answers. Right? This is there. It's been there for a long time. People don't know that. Actually, I did a couple of anyway. Then 2 minutes more. I will finish very quickly. So we can have short answers. We can have essays, right? And they can be marked automatically or manually. Is moving to digital learning difficult? And I think the answer is yes. But we can start with easy things. PowerPoint slides. We have been doing that. Upload the PowerPoint slides, becomes e-learning. Upload recorded classes. You say, oh, I don't have a video camera, right? I don't have a person to operate the video camera. Don't worry. I never have video. I upload the PowerPoint slides with the narration. I have handwritten text and diagrams. I have animations. I have a small thing I would like to show, but since there's no time, I will not show that. We have simple quizzes, assignments, group work, online exams. All of these can be done at least at a preliminary stage with very little difficulty. Right? So these are not difficult. Then we can go on to the difficult ones. So in summary, digital learning is the future. We can't avoid it because the future is digital and learning will also become digital. There are some obstacles in our way, but we can succeed. Thank you.
Yeah, our next speaker is Professor Hewagamagi.
Thank you, Professor Karunaratne. And thank you for the chair of the CVCD and the CVCD committee members inviting me to share my experience on this topic on the digital transformation. Well, it is not a new thing for all of us, but digital transformation is something is being practiced, but we really need to move forward. Okay, I had to get the presentation. Which might. Finally. Yeah. Just go ahead. Okay. I'll take from where the Professor Gihan stopped and Asita mentioned about the digital transformation. So I'm not talking to the audience here. As you may know that this conference is webcast and there are maybe some audience outside who are connected to here. Okay, this is the first lesson on the digital transformation. So how do we interact? Here is the code. It's called the slido.com. If you go there, this is the number. If you type, this is today's date, you can easily remember, okay? And you can ask any question not for the during this session, for the rest of the 7 days, okay? And not only the people here, even people who are connected to online. So, because I have to cater the audience who are not only here. So, Slido is a free tool. Teachers can use it for the mass scale teaching, okay, to interact with the people. So, this will be active for there. Okay, my topic is enhancing the competency of graduates. The digital transformation of higher learning through the virtual university model. By the way, this is not my model, okay? I'm talking about the model. In fact, this model we discussed first, I remember, when the presidential task force was formed for face the challenges at the beginning. I think lots of vice chancellors here, there, and especially Professor Sampath was guided all of us, and several members were there, and we discussed, and I'll come back to that later. Okay, my main thing, the expectation of the graduates, Professor Gihan mentioned, and well, at the end of the year, an opportunity to apply the knowledge and the skill learned during the higher education. Okay, that is the great expectation everybody will have, and they are looking for a job. Well, it's a job with an acceptable remuneration for the work or service. Sometimes people are very disappointed. They have degrees, but salaries are not enough. So then they start looking for somewhere else. So career path for the postgraduate studies is something that people really like, and the majority of the people want to do it. Professional development. That's the way to keep their stand once they go out of the university. It's the degree is the entry pass. But after that, professional development should be continued. Sustainable employability is something still some people like. The permanent jobs, job security. Some people don't care about that. Some people think about that. So that's there. Well, my question is, can universities achieve these expectations? Okay. So open question. Then the other thing about this sustainability of the higher education. Well, we really need to talk about this IR 4.0. Industrial Revolution 4.0. And what Asita mentioned about this digital transformation, it's actually the 3. In the 4th one is what we call the data-driven transformation. That is the artificial intelligence. So if you have a D1, D2, D4 is coming. The D4 is the data-driven transformation, and everything will be automated. We are just heading towards to the IR 4.0. I hope the majority of the people here may have tried the ChatGPT. Okay? So remember, your job will be unstable now. Anytime, the teacher can replace now. Already it is on the way. Well, moving forward. Do universities provide the education to meet the demand and the requirement of the next decade? And can universities survive during the next decade? The same thing is asked other way. If not, remember, this is what Professor Gihan showed. Universities will become the museums of the education. That risk we all really need to understand. Individuals or organizations or even the country, if we don't change, we will perish. This was even mentioned in the morning. We really need to go for a new model. If you don't go for the new model, if you try to live with the old model, that will vanish. The one thing many days stuck into my mind, I think, when I was in the small age, when I'm coming from the 138 route on the high-level road, the Havelock City, okay? When I was a kid, that was the place very commonly known as Vellavath Redimola, okay? That vanished. Why? The main thing is because we wanted to maintain the employability, we didn't adopt the technology. Finally, the that industry vanished from Sri Lanka. So today we are depending totally on the import because of our wrong decisions in the past. The same thing could happen to our universities. Don't forget. This is the greatest risk we are facing. Well, I'm not going to talk to the answers for all the questions, but I will talk about the content and context for those problems to find the answers. Virtual university model for the higher learning. Yes, this is a very more powerful thing. I'll explain more details. It gives us something called the freedom in the higher education. We were talking about the free education, which has become a kind of a cancer in this society, I have to say. I'm very open for a debatable discussion later. That's why I say. The freedom of education, I mean the people. I mean, if a people doesn't science, they are not allowed to do the arts. If the people does an art subject, they are not allowed to do the science. But I remember there was a keynote speaker in one of our conference, ICTA conference, who came as a professor in the database management system. But when I talked to him, I realized his first degree was in music. Someone who graduated from the visual and performing arts, can't he do a PhD in the computer science? Can. But we believe they can't. This is I think we are not ready for that. Higher education cannot survive with the online education. I think Professor Gihan described these things. I mean, when I was in 1987, we had a political crisis in this country. Okay? I was a victim of that. I spent 3.5 years in the first year. 7 years for my degree. No online, nothing. I mean, the majority of the people may have experience in this one. But remember, COVID didn't make, only the 1 month. When Professor Sampath requested our support, even myself and the Learn, Professor Roshan Ragal, we get together, lots of people from all the universities. And the volunteers came forward and we were able to survive. That was not there in the secondary education. So the same thing will have to continue if we really wanted to go. I think he just came, so I'll repeat the same thing. Higher education cannot survive without the online education. So he is the man who actually gave that support. Okay, I'm now going for the pre-COVID situation, the great time what we had. Okay, where are the employability? Okay, you can see this. This is not my data, this is the data from the UGC. So, okay, don't put a blame on me. So you can see, we are producing a large number of arts graduates, small graduates, and I think we have lots of initiative to increase the arts graduates and the science faculties, but the cost, as you can hear in the morning, cost for the science graduates is higher. Okay, 200,000 is enough for the arts graduates, so it's a cheap market. And well, pre-COVID, the present UGC is doing a lot, and we are trying to improve the lots of things. Even now I can see the science and IT is a little bit of more than the management. I guess this statistics is true. But remember, whatever the initiative is, you will never be able to increase the intake to the university more than 40%. I'm guaranteed that. Why? Our business model is old. We are still thinking we can't produce the universities based on the population in this country. Okay? If we don't change, we will live in the old age, and that will be the end. Going a little bit more, even now we say that we can only cater for something less than 40%, but look at the output, employability. This is somewhere around 2018 due to the tracer study statistics of the UGC. Only 65% can be employed after 1 year, almost. This is the stat. Well, whether even you have a non-state education, it was surprising for me, the same statistics. And when you go a little bit of now we have more girls in the school, universities, no, everywhere. So unemployability is higher among that community. Okay. So I'm not going to analyze into the details. It's up to you. Well, I wanted to go for the art stream. With respect to all the streams, you can see up to the engineering, more than 90%. That means we have a stable employability. Nothing to worry if they got a degree from engineering or above. They definitely get a degree. Between the more than 80%, I mean the science, law, and the agriculture, well, not bad. There may be some reasons. Management is also not bad, still there, but anyway, the saddest point is the arts graduate, the majority community, less than 50%. The detailed analysis shows this picture. What is this picture? I mean, the Colombo could be a little bit of happy, that is the one on the top, but when it comes to the down, you can see the unemployability. Why this? I mean, the people come for the university to get a degree. At the end, they wanted an employment. If they become a totally helpless community, who is responsible for that? And we have used the public money to produce these graduates. And some people don't care about, I mean, when you get something free, you don't think about whether you get an employment or not. People will come and do it. So there is lots of things we can discuss. Okay. Post-COVID employability. That's the main topic that we are going to discuss. COVID triggered many crises, including the economic crisis. We will see the repercussions and the situations. According to the government statistics, you know that 10 to 20% workforce lost their job. Now, do we need another set of statistics to create an alarming situation? Employability of every stream of studies affected. Very few things. I mean, especially the computing people had some advantages because they can work online and because of that. But there are more and negative. I mean, the bad stories, lots of bad stories are there. High demand study streams. For example, engineering has a problem. I think nothing to hide. People who got today the civil engineering degrees are facing a big problem. They can't find jobs. They have to leave this country. I mean, the someone who get a civil engineering graduate, my goodness, how much did we spend for that? And what expectation? They are the top cream. I mean, the people who are going to the Moratu is the top cream. And if these people can't find the jobs, something really, really critical. So, and many graduates are doing professional courses. I mean, lots of people now after the graduation or before they go and do, especially the science and engineering people, computer courses and trying to do something. I mean, they forget about their primary thing. So, academic discipline and employability. This is my thing. I think the best thing what we can say, job placement matches the academic discipline of graduates. Still, we believe it. But jobs are not always based on the academic discipline. But that's the reality we'll have to, because we are not catering for that. Of course, we may have a lot of arguments. I mean, the universities are not built for the job market. They are built for the academic disciplines. We can continue the debate. But if someone has a little bit of a multidisciplinary knowledge and the skills, well, of course, there is some chance. And at the same time, most important thing, technical knowledge and the skill. They become, I mean, the technical knowledge and skills doesn't depend on your discipline. I mean, what you can really do it. And if, of course, professional developments, for example, someone who, science graduate who has done this so, this is what I observe. Competency of the graduates is the key of the employability. And then, I'll move it since the time is limited. The other side where we are moving, as I mentioned, Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is come with the fourth layer of the digital transformation, data-driven transformation. Okay, what will happen? Everything will be automated. Robotic process automation, some of you may have heard and known, could be used to completely reduce 50% of the office tasks. That means you can reduce the workforce in the office staff by more than 50%. Already Singapore has done that. Okay? We don't want to do it. Why? Because then people lose the job. Same thing will happen to the Vellavatta Redimola. One day. Our cost is high. We never wanted to apply the technology. We wanted to live with all things because we want to protect the people's jobs. But remember, the outcome will be much more dangerous than that. Everything will collapse because of that. These things, automation, big data, cloud computing, autonomous, IoT, data management, these are not the computing people's world. They becomes the part of the literacy. Everything will be built based on that in the coming. That's what I say. Yeah. So, digital transformation 4.0 is an open thing. Will remove many jobs. what is available. So then what will happen to the employability? So AI will affect all disciplines, and automation will change the process of all fields. Already you know the translations. We have a licensed translators, but Google is not licensed translator, but you can translate to any language from anything to any AI in 1 second. And probably there may be some little things which you can correct, but it's being improved. Non-specialists in a particular domain may become a specialist. This is a dangerous thing. Non-specialist in a particular domain may become a specialist. Horadostarla. We would say that. But anyway, that is becoming. Lots of people have a fear that AI will take over everything. There will be terminators in the societies. No, this is what I say. AI will not replace the specialist, but the person who use the AI will replace the specialist. So we don't know. The specialist is something, the person who knows how to use the artificial intelligence based technologies or the tools will do it. So all will open the disciplines, all AI will open the disciplines to everyone. This is the real freedoms of the disciplines. I mean, the disciplines, we were always talking about our academic casting, I would say. I mean, we are belong to that category, this category, and things like that. I don't know whether you will agree with this. Arts graduate will not be a doctor or engineer, but he may be able to do many jobs or roles of the doctor and the engineer. So then what will happen to the doctors and the engineers? Already, every job is challenged, including the academic positions. Okay? And Professor Gyan talked about the marking. We have done a small project, research project, these things, automated marking. More than 90%, it's working. I can tell you in a way, if you really want, you can try with your exam question papers with a ChatGPT. Last time I tried with my papers, it can generate answers which is almost correct. And I can use the ChatGPT to generate the questions for my paper. I did that, so I have to admit that one. Now, even if you go for the Turnitin, there it shows whether it is generated AI context or not. Research papers, you don't want to write now. You just go and tell, I want to write paper, and can you generate a V? It will do in a second. My goodness, I spent the many hours, many days. It does in few seconds. It's meaningless. What's going to happen? Everything started in the last 6 months. You can see now what will happen in a few years' time. Okay. Future employability. AI will remove the jobs as well as AI will bring the jobs. Remember that. That is the at least in a kind of way. Disciplines of the study may not help to find the job. This is what I have to say. Not only arts graduates, science and engineering graduates will be unemployed. And employability depends on the competency, what you can do. And what a graduate can do according to the requirements of the job. Academic title will become the secondary qualification. Now, for example, O-level, A-level, someone who has a degree, nobody cares whether you have a 3 years or whether you have 8 A's in the O-level. If you have a degree, that depends on your degree is in a secondary thing. You are a graduate, that's all, who cares? Something like that. Well, geographical boundaries will not affect the employability. This is another thing. Already lots of IT people are doing foreign jobs from Sri Lanka. That's the best way to escape from 36% of the tax. Okay, you don't want to pay the local tax, you don't want to pay the foreign tax, you open a bank account in another country and you are international. That's the situation. Okay, so this is what people will expect. What the society will expect. Every graduate, so analytical problem skill, ability to acquire the knowledge, communications, whatever I got it from the /com, okay, the /com analysis, and they are for the IT graduates, but nothing only for the IT, whatever the jobs. These are the kind of a profile has to be built based on it. And another interesting things I just want to say, this is again, I got it from the UGC data. Medium of instruction, okay? I mean, those who have done their in the English medium has a better chance of getting a job. So communication still it's a very important factor. And this is another thing that I just wanted to say. Do you know that the unemployability is the lowest among those who have a simple passes in the degree? Employability is higher among the first classes. Surprising. This is the UGC report published in 2018 or 19 about based on the tracer study. Well, what does it mean? So this is, what does it mean? It's everything has changed. Classes doesn't make any sense. If you really want to find a job, it's only for the academic job if you are serious about it. Nobody cares now. Well, developing the competency for the employability, or what we call the continuous professional development, should start before the graduation. Earlier, people thought had a different thing, professional and technical skills. Now, each portfolio is more important than the CV. The good example is go for the LinkedIn profile. Everybody is trying to put this one. That is the way where companies start looking for the people, and the people can show their profile. So, higher education systems should support graduates developing their competency before the graduation. That's the kind of a new thing we can do. This is not only solution. There may be many solutions. This is the one thing I'm talking about. And students should have a good understanding of future challenges. That's another attitude issue what we have. Okay. රැකියා විරහිත උපාධිධාරී. ඒක තමනුත් ඒකට වක් කියන්න ඕන අනිත් අයට විතරක් නෙවෙයි. So even the people should have a good understanding that what we are learning, what are the challenges, what we have to do it. I mean, we'll have to train our people into that context. So virtual university model for the competency development. This idea was discussed in several online hybrid framework to develop the competency of the graduates. Don't worry, this is not going to be another university. Okay, so it's an educational service for professional development. That should be the one. Educational service that offers micro and macro qualification. Usually the universities are more on the macro qualification. We have degrees, diplomas, postgraduate, everything. But today, micro qualification like certificates, what we call earlier, but now people call in the online world the badges, okay, where people can show them. And also redeem the prior learning to obtain the qualification. The micro learning culture, it's not very popular in our society. We really need to do. That is the way you address this professional development. View is a model for the collaboration. Yes, we are in fact working on our faculties and our universities. We are only teaching for the people in our faculty. We are not talking about the other universities, other students. And we can get for the collaboration model. Different levels of the implementation. This can be implemented at the faculty level, university level, even national level and international level. What is a Coursera? Coursera is this virtual university model at an international level. Is it a university? They are now offering the degrees, but they don't have a single professor. Uber is a big taxi company, doesn't have a single taxi. So that is the new business model in the coming era. Well, ideas we implemented as a prototype. Okay. Well, that is the pre-university English language course. You can try this one. This is the URL, vu.ugc.ac.lk. So I really need to thank the model concept we discussed. I made a brief presentation. Thanks to the chairman and also the commission members, including the Professor Javadana and lots of people. And then we wanted to do something. I mean, every day we were discussing, but we were not doing it. Then we identified the target students who are waiting. Now you know that more than 1 year people will have to wait because of all these things. So can we develop a course and try out this thing? So pre-English university language course, UGC, in fact, funded the whole program. UCSC and the Learn helped me a lot, even the last time. Now it was deployed, it's available. And this is the statistics. We gave the 37,000 accounts. All the people who got the admission from the UGC. Every student from the university is now accessing. 20,000 have already access. Okay, 20,000 has already access. This is the one course, and really need to get an fortunately there. So if you really wanted to try out, here is the demo account. Okay, yeah. So then this course can be sold to some other body. Demo and the password if you really want to try. So inside the course is there. I mean, what is this model? This is the model where it's a kind of a marketplace. Universities can start putting courses for anybody. And even the individuals can develop their courses comes. Because this model may not be purely online. It could be a hybrid. That could be happen. Okay. So student feedback, already 143 students have completed when I checked yesterday. And you can see this is the real statistics I have taken. And now students, we only open for the who got the admission this time, but the other students somehow got to know and they are writing to me and asking for an account. Okay, that is the situation. And this is the final thing, the way forward. Well, everything free will not survive. That's what my belief. Some courses will be free. We have to give it something free, of course, but everything is not free. So paid professional courses will have to put, and university academia collaboration is very important if we go for a model like this. Quality assurance matters a lot. When the people come and take, there should be some mechanism. Private-public partnership like in a SLASCOM, and they have already done, as Chairman mentioned in the morning, I mean, they have agreed for giving it to the arts faculty graduates and at least to some way to address. So the same thing for every graduates can build their profile through these kind of micro learning. International collaborations. I think this model is already there in India. If you go for Pakistan, Virtual University of Pakistan, India, Swami, and the I mean, this is not another open university. This is an online educational service which could be provided at the even national level. Then open it for those who don't get the placement in the universities. So that's all what I have to say, and I hope I am on time. But you can go there if you like. You can vote for the virtual university model. We were talking, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but if you like, anytime you can vote for the thing. It's already there on the social media. You can put your comments, you can ask questions. Everything will come to my Slido account on my mobile. I will answer when time permits. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor K.V. Hewagamage. Thank you very much. I don't want to take much time. Shall we invite questions? Please, the floor is yours. Please ask questions from the three eminent speakers. I will summarize at the end. Any question, clarification? Yes, Professor Mangalesharan. Go ahead. Yeah, your front line.
First of all, I appreciate that your presentation at present need digitalization, especially Professor Giganda has mentioned that digital learning. Even that COVID time, we had an experience that conducted the program virtually. But later, most of the students wanted this, they won't come in person or physically. But I think because in the university undergraduate, especially not only the academic program, they want other activities, sports, talent, culture. That may be the reason they wanted on physical or in-person learning. What's the opinion of the Professor Gigandas?
Yes. So we see these two different things. One is students want to be in the university. We also see that students are not all that keen to come for classes and lectures. So as I mentioned, we sometimes see that a class is going on and the student is attending the class, but maybe he's in campus, but he doesn't come into the classroom. He's in the hostel or some other place and accessing the class. So we see that, yes, I believe when we say university, it's not just a set of lectures. I mean, that's not a university. No? So we have all these cultural, social, sports, and various other activities for which, to a large extent, you have to be there. That's certainly true. So I was, of course, not focusing on the non-academic part of the university. I think that's very important, but I was not concentrating on that. I was concentrating on the actual academic part where we can do it. So I'm not suggesting, obviously, during COVID, we were forced to deal with people who were at home. Now we are not, but therefore I believe we should use digital to improve the course and the learning without necessarily saying no, you can do it from home. But if some students want to use it from home, now we do see this Friday syndrome where students really hate to come for lectures on Friday. They somehow talk to the lecturer and try to shift the lecture to some other day. So that's fine. I mean, let them go home on Friday, but make sure the learning happens.
Yeah. So it's a great question. I think this is something that we have seen everywhere in every university. The kind of mistake in that question is that we assume that when you say digital learning or blended learning, it means online learning or completely away from. It's not so. So what we had during COVID is what we call emergency remote teaching. So that's basically completely away from it. The benefits of digital learning or blended learning, what we say is that things that we can automate, as I mentioned earlier, things that not really needs the teacher intervention, things of content consumption. Because most of the time, what the teachers do is, as Professor Gihan has said, go to the class. If you are just reciting the notes and people taking down, that can be easily done through online modes. So what we are saying in blended learning or digital learning is, automate things that machines will do better, because students can consume knowledge when they want it, from anywhere they want, and all those things, accessibility and video, audio content, all those things. But if you do that, as I mentioned earlier, we can save the time, physical time with the students, so that they can individualize and personalize the interaction. Because as humans, as teachers, we can actually do better, understand the students' individual needs. If we can remove the recitation and all these mundane tasks from our day-to-day interaction with the students, we can actually better use that for individualized, personalized learning and feedback and all.
I think it is not only the students. Most of the non-academic people are coming from Kandy. So what to do on Friday? So we all are struggling universities. Anyway, the digital usage is essential. Yeah, any other questions? Yes.
Due to developments in artificial intelligence, particularly ChatGPT and all the other learning and all that. And of course, if you consider from the point of view of a lecturer or teacher, it is actually a challenge how best to avoid these kind of plagiarism and things like that, disadvantages. In your opinion, in the opinions of the experts, any developments to counter that or compensate that, if you have?
Thank you for the question. I think AI brings lots of tools. Some of the things are very good tools for the education, but at the same time, some tools we can think about as a destructive tools. Now, if you take it the calculator, if you give a calculator to someone who wants to learn about the addition, subtraction, multiplication, what will happen? He will not learn that there. But we know once the person knows about the basic methods of the calculation and the mathematical operation, usually we allow even the papers to use the calculators. So this is where the tool, some tools, if we use it in a wrong way, of course, it may be a destructive. So the teachers at the same time will have to consider this one. Controlling, we may do it in some cases. I mean, the most of the time we do the assessment. So the assessment, we need to have a controlled assessment. Still, we'll have to continue. That's the one thing. The other thing, in my understanding, if we try to restrict people using tools, let's say now, for example, dissertation writing and the reports writing, if we say that you can't use the chat GPT and other thing, I think it will not work it out. And the best way, let the people to use whatever the tool they want, but then we have to change our assessment method. If we use our traditional assessment method, of course, they become meaningless. Now, for example, the report, still they will have to submit the report and the report will be checked. It is a requirement, but no marks will be given. But then there will be a compensation access. There will be a VAPA based on the report they wrote, or then there may be a kind of a demonstration. And you need to change the assessment mode. Important thing, I mean, just putting the ban on using tools will not work. We'll have to work with, and at the same time, these are the tools. I mean, the first time, for example, the last time I requested from the UCSC administration, I wanted to have an open book exams in my software engineering course for the postgraduate one. I let students to bring all their notes. And I said, you can answer my question. And I have the statistics, and I purposely made a paper a little bit tougher than my normal side. Okay? And the people say they can only answer only 80%. And say was saying a little bit of more tough than the normal closed book. But the thing is this, people do not want to, I mean, our examination, I mean, the memorization doesn't make any sense. If I don't know anything, I'll go online, I'll search it and find the answers. What we need the outcome-based education. So the assessment mechanisms, everything will change in the coming era. We'll have to rethink that one. Yes.
And I think the assessment training is essential. We need to train the academics how to assess. This is very important. You know, earlier we were in old system, then we transferred to credit system. Everybody knows that the number of classes went up more and more because the assignment marking, we never had training in Sri Lanka. There should be kind of training programs for all these digital activities for each kind of employees in the system. That is what. Professor Nilanthi, I think you have a question.
Yes, two questions, comments really. One is the fact that there is no doubt that we have to adopt digital technologies in our higher education system. Otherwise, we, as what Professor Gihan showed in one of his slides, our universities will just simply crumble and die. That's inevitable. But in the context of the current situation, the seminar that we had in the morning about funding, digitalization is an expensive process, right? And maintaining the infrastructure that is required for students to be able to be on campus and access that lecture that is going on in a lecture hall somewhere else, to see those PowerPoint slides, to listen to the narration, all of that is expensive. And we have to replace that, the infrastructure, plan ahead and replace it every so often because it gets outdated. Just like buildings need maintenance, the infrastructure or IT infrastructure also needs maintenance. And so we need to keep that in mind, and that we need to make those capital investments as well. Second matter that I wanted to highlight is that we talked a lot about the learning and the teaching learning activities and the educational side of things. But equally importantly for our universities is the administration side of things. And I think Professor Asita Bandaranaike touched on it slightly, where he said that virtually all our universities have learning management systems, and the education side is, like, you said, at a 99% level. But on the administration side, the digitalization of our administrative processes is at a much lower level. And I think as people who are in senior management in the university system, that's an area that we need to really think about and see how we can work perhaps together to learn from each other's experiences in how we can do that better, more quickly.
Yeah, that's what I actually in the opening remarks I said that all 5 types of internal stakeholders: academics, administrators, non-academic, academic support, casual and temporary workers, all should get kind of a different kind of orientation training while we are moving to this. Otherwise, it will going to be collapse if we try to use only one section, compartmentalize, and say only academics going to digitalization. That will never happen, I hope. Okay, any question? Any other question? Yes.
Adding to Professor Nilanthi, I'm Professor Udit Jai Singh, I'm University VC. Strategically, being virtual will be the best, but even in the definition, virtual from one end it is digitally replicated, but in other end it is borderless. Right? You will be considering both as IT specialist. It is digital, very expensive or whatsoever. Other end, it has no borders, right? Then, in terms of operation and tactics, how you are going to do this one with the higher education system, you'll have to, from the beginning, you'll have to plan. If otherwise, always, we know government failures are not much highlighted, market failures are really highlighted. That is the history of anything, right? So when the market fails, it is very much highlighted. So to whom you are going to open this one? Is it for the IT area of entire system, or it is a separate university? Because people likes to come into area where you with the least transaction cost, searching and verification, negotiation. So you'll have to be careful whether you are going to change the entire system into virtual, or you are changing the higher education system together with private and public universities virtual, or which subjects to become virtual and where to start, how you are going to gradually transfer. If otherwise, when it's come to failure, there will be nobody to get the, who did something wrong. See the water problem today in the Samanala River. Water dunnot, ruhunata light ne. Water dunnot, ruhunata but ne. Dekama ruhunata ne have the cake sure. Being virtual, we will lose national university system if it gives 100% to a 1% or 2%. But it's a very good operation. With the system, you should gradually come up with for English or for IT, then for a technology, part by part in a curriculum, make it common and gradually go into the other ones. If not, I'm sure there will be a big resistance virtually from again, it is virtually from the academics, not from any other. Thank you. Right. This is my, what I have felt, because this is a very nice term to tell, but tactically, it can be failed purposely because it has different meanings in terms of what you call virtual university, right?
I think, Professor Udit, there are some positive ways also. For example, particularly that students are doing A-level examination until the university coming. They are not with us. There may be 1 year or 2 year, or during that period they can have necessary skills when they come to university, particularly IT skills, English skills, all technology skills. Of course, as he pointed out, the micro level certificates for those people, maybe ideally that one. I don't know whether beyond that you are thinking to substitute for universities.
This is again, I have to say, this kind of an educational service we are building not to just to replace the normal courses what you have in the universities. Now, obviously, we'll have to accept the challenge that our students has to be, they have to be capable. That is what we call the competency has to be built once they go for the market, right? Because the employers are assessed from the, not only from the education or qualification, still it's important. But the other thing, do you know it? If someone, let's say, even an arts graduate, if they go for a job interview, if they know about how to use the Microsoft Office and the office environment, how do you do it, and how do you write in a document, how do you print, and so many activities. So those are the things sometimes really need to, they have to develop the competency. So important thing, the students really need to educate, okay, if you really plan to get in a good job, well, of course, getting in a first class is important. That's obviously whatever the statistics says. But at the same time, try to learn other things, and they can also target. Now, some people, I know, even this is especially for the engineering, I have observed. I mean, the other field now, when they compare the salaries. Now, right now, at the moment, the IT sector has the highest salary scale. Therefore, even the engineering, the mechanical engineering, other thing, and Professor Gihan could explain a little bit more. While they are doing the degrees, they do even the other courses, including I have seen the Colombo BIT, they do it. And it's not a difficult thing for them. So even the Colombo science graduates now doing the BIT while they are studying, it's not hard. So what they say, they will have a 2 qualification at the end, the so-called double qualification. So then they probably could market that one. So, and other thing, you are rightly correct. I mean, the nice ideas will not become a nice thing every time. What is the important thing? The strategic planning. So to take the things forward, that's very important. We have 2 things, bottom-up approach and the top-down approach. So the bottom-up approach is the most important thing, where we need to start from the university level. Okay, every university. Well, top-down also, we need to, from the national level, we'll have to start some of the things which we'll promote. And this kind of a service, even now, every faculty I know, every university, they have an LMS, they provide the materials, they interact. Now, for example, you can just know about the notes. I mean, the 10 to 15 years, everybody need the printed notes. Now, I remember in my faculty, we took a decision not to give even before the COVID, we took a decision, maybe almost now 10 years ago, no printed notes, because the lecturers want to print and give it more than the students sometimes. That's the reality. And then they become, even some students don't bring the notes, they put in the classroom. I mean, it wasn't a big wastage, what we realized. But now everybody has adapted.
Yeah, Professor Hivagamage, I think you need to answer that question, whether this university is proposing for as a complementary or substitute for existing universities.
It's a complementary.
For the complementary for initial, before coming to university, it will be reduce the university cost and university effort also to teach languages and skills also. That will be a great initiative, I hope. Yes, any other question, clarification?
One more
UGC
question.
chairman also raising hand, please. Can Mikey then, Mikey.
Okay. Can I raise my question?
Oh. Yes, who is? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Go ahead. We can't see you.
Now you can see me.
Okay.
Yeah. The question is, sooner or later we will be heading towards digital transformation. That is true. But I don't know, at least in the Sri Lankan context, how ready our students, not only students, even academics, teachers and students are to embrace digital transformation. For example, I know some students, they never use emails. Some students, they don't know how to use emails. I have seen many students, they type in the subject line. I was sort of amazed to see such emails. Some students, they don't respond to telephone calls, no texting. LMS, we have been using for some times. I have been using LMS for almost now 13, 14 years. I have seen many students, they don't individually access, but their batch rep or batch reps do the downloading and uploading. So I'm little bit, I have reservations how ready our student population towards embracing digitalization. Another thing, as Professor Nilanthi highlighted, digitalization is also expensive. Zoom accounts will disappear, or otherwise we will have to pay more. LMS Moodle, which has been very popular, has already taken over by Adobe, which Adobe is not a non-profit organization. They will start charging. Google Workspace, we have been enjoying free Google Space up to a certain level, but very soon that will also not be free. And the other thing I want to point out.
Can you brief, because the time, there are some other questions.
1 minute, please. Now, virtual universities, are challenged by AI-driven tools such as ChatGPT? Thank you.
Who is going to answer?
Shall I try to answer? So let me, let's your first question, whether the students and staff are not yet ready for digital. I tend to agree with several things you say. I mean, sometimes we do find we send students mail, they don't answer or whatever. I think partly the reason is they are digital, but their digital world is different from our digital world. So we may have to make sure that we go to their world, or at least persuade them to come to our world. I know a lot of students, they really don't use email. But if you send them WhatsApp message, probably they will answer. So we have to figure out, what it is. But I don't really believe that. Yes, there are certainly a few students, but the majority of students, I think, in any faculty, they are playing with their phone pretty much the whole day. So I do not believe they cannot, but maybe they do not find it motivated enough to use it. So we have to figure out. But what we find is, if we make sure that everything is on, let's say, this is not going to do it forever and ever. He will say, මේ කරන්න බෑ, ඔයාම ගිහිල්ලා access කරන්න. So I think these are going to change, but whatever is said and done, digitization, whatever you call it, is already here with the students. And I don't think that it's correct to say it's not there.
Okay, thank you very much, because I think any starting point, there are many worries about when we transform 3 language to English medium in management faculties. Also we had, but we are going, with the Zoom and other thing, we could go over this COVID-19 crisis as well. So we all are two questions from Chairman CVC, the Chairman UGC, and from the Vice Chancellor Peradeniya.
Thank you, Professor Karunaratne. From the morning, we are talking about this arts output. So we all know now 26.5% from the total is arts. While having this 26% and the employability also very low, we have a special intake, especially for arts, to run some of the departments. It's a huge issue because there is no demand for such degrees. That is simply because they cannot find jobs. Right? In order to keep alive these programs, they are continuously requesting additional intake for some departments, 25, 30, 40, 50. But at the end of the day, when you calculate the employability, their employability is, very low than normal general arts. So any solution, I don't know whether you can answer or audience can give any kind of a solution.
Yeah, it is very good question, because the one, in fact, what we have to think that what is the composition of arts? Even the students specializing geoinformatic systems, GIS, he's doing science, he's doing IT, but he is categorized as an art student. Even the particular student specialized statistics, economics, need central bank, but he is categorized as art. So there are some departments where you can easily take from the out as art, they are high performers. Geography, economics, maybe some other. So while you are pooling these departments, and we are suffering. I think we need of arts. In world, there are many universities, they have faculty of economics, but we have 20 universities. None of the university has faculty of economics in Sri Lanka. And geoinformatics systems institutes, departments, faculties, we don't have. So we need to, I think, rethink about the composition of the arts faculties and what are the departments asking these kind of additional intakes, then what kind of additional support we can give for such curricula to change for the employability. That is my personal answer. Maybe some other has some other answers. Any other answer from?
So I don't know if I have an answer for you, Professor Sampath, but so I believe arts, humanities also have a huge potential for digitalization. Now, whether that will help employability, I'm not really sure. I'm not saying, there's a separate thing within the arts faculty have some computer course. That I can remember Dean Arts at Peradeniya was telling me he want to do that maybe 20 years ago, but he didn't succeed. But anyway, that's a separate thing. And I believe, the arts faculty students are scared of computers. I think that's true, right? They don't come to the computer lab because they think, my God, mama arts mata me computer hariyanne, right? So those are maybe things we need to figure out. But if we can get some of these arts students to do maybe their subject, right? Maybe Sinhala literature, maybe Buddhist civilization, but using the digital, they may get skills which will help them. Now, obviously, there is never going to be a huge demand in employment for Buddhist civilization. That's obvious. So we have to look at some other things.
Can I add
Professor Lamawan had a question, I think.
Shall I add a small thing for the Professor Sampath thing? Well, this is my personal opinion. Well, employability rate should be an official statistics that should be displayed in the UGC handbook. I mean, we should not hide that one. Everybody should know that this employability, and also we really need to work out in a bottom line, even from there, with respect to each degree program. Well, the people may get what we call the primary jobs, the targeted jobs. Well, sometimes it may be possible, sometimes it's not possible. Then what are the secondary type of jobs? Even suppose, let's say an arts graduate in a particular field, if we can get what are the jobs positions available? What are the other things? So then probably the student can plan to add those kind of an additional thing. Well, people now, for example, learning management skills are very important, office skills. And lots of people, many jobs positions depends on the basic ICT literacy, and there may be now even the other thing, the programming it's not in a kind of a specialized now. Even the school, even grade 8, 9, they are going to put into the curriculum. So there may be they may not be becoming a software engineers, but of course there may be other things where the people may find jobs. So we really need to work out that. Now sometimes we are not addressing that part. We just address only the academic side. But then that will create a kind of, now this is the main difference with respect to the private higher education institute and us, because they are more concerned. The main reason, students when they are coming, they pay and come. They ask, "Meka karot mata mokadda ganna puluwan?" That's the first question. Now when our students come, they don't ask, no, this is given free. I mean, this is the bad side of that thing. But that is not then we have to work it out, because we are the responsible party. What we can do to fill the gap in order to address their employability in the future.
One comment. Thank you very much for all the deliberations. There is unemployability not such as the permanent one, only the waiting time. So there is no such graduates as unemployed, in my opinion, after being some time. So they have been all doing kind of job. Unemployed, unmarried is our artificial concept, in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, unemployment 50% we are accountable, 50% economy also accountable. If there are no jobs, even we produce PhD, we have to go there. So the 50% we have the, I think, contribution. Anyway, thank you very much. We are delayed 5 minutes, and of course we started after 15 minutes delay. Professor Lama, answer, you have a question?
Yeah, more than a question. Now for teaching and learning purposes, and we have system developed. But as senior administrators, for us to run our institutions for administrative purposes, whether it is for human resources or other matters, we don't have a very good system. And when I talk to the other vice chancellors, they have bit and pieces. The Peradeniya has bit and pieces. And we have tried this 3 times in the university systems to establish online system for us to run our affairs. One thing is, first question is that why have we failed? Can we do something about it? And then have a unified system for all our universities?
I hope the UGC chairman will answer for that.
Yes. As far as you take non-academic staff from the minister's list, you won't be able to establish systems. Yes.
I think administrators also, we have
Yes,
read that.
because simply academic establishment, they can use available HR systems. Accounting and finance, those branches, they can use all these software.
Yes.
Actually, we teach all these software in our faculties. But only thing, we can't implement this within the university because the people, they are not good at computers because they are from the list, and we don't have, the limited selection is there. So that is the biggest problem. And even in Vice Chancellor's office, if you just see how many people can answer to an email, right? These are the problems actually we have today, right? As far as you take people from the list, I don't think we will be able to digitalize universities. We have to stop talking digitalization until you get good people to work with computers.
Sure, of course, that we have given only academics to recruit by the departments. If the other 4 categories also allowed to recruit by departments, no harm, any problem. So this is one of the very good conclusions we have to pass for the evening as our conclusion. Thank you very much for participating and inviting us to conduct this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Karunaratne, for that wonderful session moderation, and to our panelists. I would cordially invite the chairman of the University Grants Commission, Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, on stage, together with Senior Professor Sujeev Amarasena, the chair of CVCD, and Senior Professor Nilanthi De Silva, the chair of the conference, on stage to present the awards or tokens of appreciation. To Dr. Asita Bandaranaike, to Professor Kihan Dias, and to Senior Professor K.P. Hewagamage.
Thank you. It was, as anticipated, an engaging session enriching the CVCD Conference 2023. And with that, we will now adjourn for a very quick break for light refreshments. And this is a gentle reminder that the closing ceremony cordially invite you to the closing ceremony therein. Thank you.